Hi guys, Larry Kwirirayi here, and it has happened. The big news, absolutely unexpected big news. Sean Williams has been retired by Zimbabwe Cricket. So he is no longer going to be considered for national team selection. And I'm going to read parts of the statement from Zimbabwe Cricket. Remember, Sean Williams pulled out of the match, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifier Africa, that was in Harare and was replaced by Clive Madande. And Zimbabwe Cricket says there was potential anti-doping testing that could have been happening in that particular tournament. And after an investigation, Williams disclosed that he had been struggling with drug addiction and voluntarily entered rehabilitation. And then ZC continues to say in its statement, it expects all contracted players to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, discipline, and compliance with team protocols and anti-doping regulations. Then it hits the crux. A review of Williams' record indicates a history of disciplinary issues, repeated unavailability, which has impacted team preparations and performances. I'm going to come back to that one because I think it's a biggie, and says, while ZC commends him for seeking rehabilitation, withdrawal from team commitments under circumstances involving potential testing raises serious concerns regarding professional and ethical standards. Now, the crux, the final statement comes after careful consideration. ZC has concluded that Williams will no longer be considered for national selection. That's a bummer, a big bombshell. 24 tests. He's done 164 ODIs and 85 T20s. We will never see Sean Williams in a national team jersey again. Zimbabwe Cricket have decided they're done. Now, key thing that happened there, Zimbabwe Cricket saying, reviewing his history, they call it repeated unavailability. History of disciplinary issues. Is this a straw that broke the camel's back, or could there be questions around him missing that test and the potential ban? But, recreational drug bans tend to be 1 to 3 months most of the time. And I just didn't, if they could have decided, no, we're just going to keep him for the tests. There's the ODIs next year, World Cups 2 years from now, and decided, you know what, we're just going to let this slide. But it must have been something that said, we're done with Sean, because there's that statement of repeated unavailability. So this is repeat performances in which he doesn't make himself available, a history of disciplinary issues, key factors in that. And it impacts what's the statement? Team preparations and performance. And you've got to understand, if the selectors sit down and they decide we want to get Sean Williams in the team or explain the team, the expectation is that he's going to be there. And if there's a possibility he's not going to be there, then the reliability of such a player being picked up comes into question. And yeah, I mean, look, it's a big one for me because I'm a big Sean Williams fan, and I've been a big fan for the longest period. And, he's given me some of the happiest moments of my life watching him play. A couple of those hundreds out during the qualifier in 2023, we didn't make it, but he played his bare bones trying to get Zimbabwe over the line. The number of test hundreds that he scored for Zimbabwe at his home in Queens, in the Bulawayo Queen Sports Club. So he's a player that I'm going to miss. At 39, I did suggest the possibility of ban. If there's going to be a long ban, the bosses might be thinking, do we really want to keep fighting this, or do we let it go? Or it could be just down, as I said, overthinking. It just could be a disciplinary issues, and they've decided that they want to move forward, maybe set some precedent for other players that no matter how big you are, you're not indispensable. But I know some people have brought up Weston Madere and them getting those 3-month ban. Remember, Weston Madere and the other guy was Brandon Mavuta. Yes, I think it was different then because there was no mention of repeated, I'm going to say that, repeated unavailability, repeated cases of indiscipline and so forth. And if you remember, with those guys, it was written that they were on their last notice. So that means if in the 12 months after that, if they had misbehaved again and caught for a similar issue, they were going to get banned forever, just fired from Zimbabwe Cricket. So yeah, it's big news. I'm going to miss him. And Sean, I hope everything goes well for you. I'm going to miss you as a player. And every time I've had an interview with you, you've been candid, honest, and I think you were a rock hard disciplinarian in that particular team. Unfortunately, it didn't go quite your way in as far as that department is concerned. But yeah, for everybody else, the rest of his teammates are going to play hard for him. And a couple of days, I was going to drop the Brian Bennett videos, yeah, on his batting. But I'm wondering if I should do a Sean Williams video, sort of like tribute video. Maybe. We'll see what to do. But yeah, subscribe, share, ring the bell so that the algorithm remembers that we exist. The algorithm is always like trying to push a lot of AI slop these days. But yeah, my name is Kwirirayi. Peace out.